Okay, welcome back, and I'm going to go through all the tools that I use to assemble RC aircraft. More specifically, the Avistar, but actually some of these things I didn't actually use on the Avistar, but I want to show them to you anyway. I'll start with the ironing tools, covering tools. This is essential when you're building an RC aircraft, because you got to make sure that covering is real tight or it'll just rip off, and if it rips off in flight, you've lost your airplane. So a really good heat gun, this is a Hanger 9 and this is a Hanger 9, a really good heat gun and a really good iron with a sock on it. Horizon Hobby sells those for about in the neighborhood of $30 to $40 for the pair. That's a really good price. Also, I use a trim iron. The trim iron is very handy when you're doing where the edges fold over, and you saw me use it when I cut open the openings for the flap servos and so forth. And it again is essential as far as I'm concerned. Another basic tool, essential, Exacto Knife. I buy this kit which has all the types of cutters in it. It also comes with the saw blade and all the other kinds of nice sharp Exacto knives, and that's my go-to box for that. The CG machine, again, essential. You want to make sure that CG is absolutely right. If the CG is off, you're going to lose control of your airplane potentially, and that's not good. Balancing the prop is extremely important, and I use the Top Flight PowerPoint magnetic balancer, and again, essential from my perspective. I also use a variety of rulers. The 36-inch steel ruler is important because you measure the wingtip to elevator tip. And I have three other sizes. I've got an 18-inch, a 12-inch, and a 6-inch. I use them every time I build an airplane. The types of Allen wrenches that I have sets like this that are relatively cheap, metric in English, and but again, this is the kind of set that does not come with the 7/64 hex, which is important for a particular size of hex head that we use. And but I also use this set here. This comes from Horizon Hobby. It's by Dynamite. It's both metric and English, and it's a full set of metric and English. I always have here in the shop. I also have a set that I carry with me. The other kind of tools, these are Craftsman. My wife accuses me of going into a Sears store and buying one of everything, and they're Craftsman stuff, but I don't. Believe me, I don't. But this is a nice handy set of small pliers. I also use the large pliers. That's the flat end Craftsman needle nose, and I have a better needle nose here. That actually came from Ace Hardware. And Craftsman Lyman's pliers, and a nice channel lock cutters, and a good essential tool is just a nice pair of scissors. Box cutters, both small and large, razor blade type things. I usually have two sizes of forceps. This one is a nice long one, so if I drop something down into an airplane, a screw or something, I can pick it back up. And if I can't pick it up with that, I use an extension like this, is magnetic extension. You can pick those up in a lot of places. And essential too is a good pair of tweezers. these kind of tweezers are already closed and you have to open them up. And this is a regular kind of tweezers. Always have those handy. The thread lock, the Permatex thread lock that I use, and this general battery operated screwdriver, it is extremely handy. Got that off of Amazon. And so those are most of the essential ones. You know, I'll say nice to have, but I consider important is the throw meter, the AccuThrow by Great Planes. It's extremely handy when you want to measure precisely the control throws and make sure they're both on the same side, especially when you have two different servos controlling ailerons and so forth. The Great Planes Z-bender for doing Z-bends, as we did with the throttle servo, where the push rod for the throttle servo had a Z-bend on it at the engine. And you see me use this a lot. It's a digital pair of calipers. I've had this one for a number of years, and easy to measure precisely the diameter of something or the opening of something, and it's something that I just have and use all the time. Again, not necessarily absolutely essential, but Hobbyco from Tower Hobbies sells a very nice triangle for measuring to make sure that the vertical stabilizer is straight, and comes with two, both a 45 and a 30, 60, 90 triangle. My glues, I use both 6-minute, this is the Great Planes 6-minute epoxy, and I also use the Zap 30-minute epoxy. Great Planes, I think, also makes a 30-minute. The 30-minute epoxy is stronger. The 6-minute epoxy is for a case where the strength is not essential, but you want to make sure it holds well. And of course, epoxy mixing cups and sticks, and the CA glue, thin, and I have a medium, and the debonder and the applicator tips, very essential. Goo Gone. When you got something sticky, like I had on the tube for the wing joiner tube, there was a sticky tape on it. You got to use that to take it off. I always have a set of pin vices. This is a nice pin vise. I think you can still get this on Amazon. It's a swivel head pin vise. And then I also have a set of pin vices that will hold larger straight drill bits. I also use this one a lot because it's the right size for certain applications when you're drilling out a servo horn or a servo arm too. With the pin vices, I have a collection of drill bits there, and of various sizes if you need to do a precision hole. You will also find you have to cut a lot of pieces of balsa or plywood or plastic, and you need a precision kind of a cutter. This is made by Hobbyco, and is very easy to use to trim things that need to be trimmed smooth. We didn't have to use it this time, but I always have a Canopy curved tip Canopy Scissors, and we didn't have to glue on a Canopy this time, but in other ones I've have. And these nice pair of curved scissors are very precise and great for cutting not only canopies but anything plastic. My rubbing alcohol, buy this by the quart from Walmart, and usually you can find a small squirt bottle like this in the hair care section of Walmart or other places like that. When you go to drill a hole that needs to be precise and centered, this is a center drill bit, so you can put this in a hole and drill a very precise centered hole. We didn't have to do that this time because we used a clamp. The other thing I find important, I won't call it essential, is to have spare screws and nuts of various sizes. And I've been using this company for quite a while. It's RTL Fasteners, and they come in a very nice box. You assemble the box with dividers and put all your screws in there, and you've seen them sitting on the table here. When you're dealing with tubing, Dubro makes a tubing bender, which is if you're going to put tubing inside a for fueling inside a fuel tank and you need to bend it, it looks like this, and it's the only way to get a really nice bend, either 90 or even only 45. It works very well. And my tubing cutter is made by Superior Tools. I've seen this on Amazon. Very easy to and precise to cut the brass tubing. I keep all that and spare tubing and stuff like that in a nice handy box. And I have sitting over there, I guess you can see him over there, I'll maybe turn the camera just a little bit, is, excuse the jiggling, there we go. So I've got my bench grinder. I don't know if I actually showed you the bench grinder when I had to grind the joiner tube because it was slightly long. And I have a bench table saw. That bench table saw is again very handy when you're need to get a nice square piece of plywood. Okay, and so that's about it for my completion guide for all the assembly tools that I use for building aircraft. Again, I didn't use all of those. I did use the bench grinder. But like making the box for the starter, that table saw makes quick use of getting a nice straight square cut. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed this series. I will probably put up some additional series of different airplanes. And I have probably one or two more of the Avistar that I will put up, but not necessarily right away. But this completes the initial series for the Avistar airplane. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for future series of RC airplanes. Thank you.